Hurricane Helene moving away from the Yucatan, next stop Florida. Lots to get into. First, if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button, get those future notifications, and help this channel to grow. I would appreciate that. All right, so Hurricane Helene now moving away from the Yucatan, 80-mile-per-hour winds, moving north-northwest at 10 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and take a look at it on satellite here, see what's going on. So you can clearly see where the center of circulation is. You can see that spin right there in the middle of the screen. It's been dealing with some dry air, which has kind of inhibited it or stopped it from strengthening. It's kind of leveled off here, but this is actually to be expected. As we go into later today and overnight, that's when intensification and possibly rapid intensification is expected to take place. So I'm actually going to switch this over. We're going to take a look at the water vapor. Water vapor can a lot of times tell us what's going on with the storm here. So if you can see, so actually I'm going to pause this and back this up. And the one thing we were seeing earlier today is on the southern side of the storm, southeastern side, it was pulling in some dry air off of the Yucatan. If we put this forward here, it looks like that's starting to cut off, as you can kind of see the, those drier browns start to get eliminated there. Now there's still some dry air kind of wrapped around into the center of it, but that's going to work. If it's cut off that injection of dry air, that's the dry air that's remaining in the storm is going to be able to work itself out. But until it works itself out, that core isn't really going to be able to tighten and close off that eye wall and then restart its intensification. But that's expected to do so as it moves away from the Yucatan. It is supposed to fight off that dry air, and I think we're beginning to see that now. So the next few hours, and this is really, we're now entering that time period where if this thing's going to take off, it's going to do so. And it's going to probably do so as we go into the overnight hours tonight. We're going to actually pop over. We'll take a look at that real quick here. So this is the HAFSA, and let me back that up a little bit. All right, so this is this afternoon. You can see it's got 971 millibars. So if we put this into motion, so this is now 8 p.m. tonight, Eastern time, there's 966 millibars, so gradual strengthening, and then as we go forward into the overnight hours, then it really starts to deepen at 953 millibars, and then this is now 9Z, so this is early tomorrow morning, now down to 946 millibars, and you can really see, look at that tight center, look at all that convection around the eye there. So at this point, it is now undergoing rapid intensification overnight into tomorrow morning. 8 a.m. tomorrow, this model has 934 millibars. So that is really deep strengthening. That is a very strong storm by tomorrow morning. So we'll know when we wake up tomorrow morning. We'll know if this was right. And a lot of models are showing rapid intensification, and this is expected. But we'll certainly know tomorrow morning if that's the case. And then it continues to strengthen. Now 2 p.m. tomorrow, it's now down into the 920s. So we're probably talking about borderline category 5 here. And then one thing you notice too is even away from that center, you have some pretty strong bands impacting the western coast of Florida and then up into the panhandle. So the weather's going to be going downhill quickly tomorrow. And then we're probably looking at landfall sometime late tomorrow. And this is 8 p.m. tomorrow. It's making its approach in at 921 millibars. Let's actually switch over to the winds here. Let me go to, here we go, 10-meter winds. This is 137 knots. That's about 157 miles per hour. So we're talking borderline category 5 hurricane on this model. So that is a possibility. National Hurricane Center is not forecasting a category 5 at landfall, but that is a possibility. So I think we're, best case scenario at this point, it does seem like we're looking at a major hurricane. I don't know if best case might be category 3. There's some things that could happen that could weaken the storm. Maybe it pulls in some more dry air as it approaches and weakens it right before landfall. But at this point, prepare for a very big storm, and the impacts are going to go far beyond landfall, which we're going to take a look at here in just a second. Let's pop over. We'll take a look at the track. If this wants to load up here. So pretty high confidence in the forecast still. Hasn't changed much from yesterday. There could be some wobbles, but this thing's coming into either the Panhandle or the Big Bend, and this could track directly over very close to Tallahassee. So probably be some wild scenes coming out of Tallahassee as this thing makes landfall late tomorrow night, and then into the wee hours of Friday morning. So this is coming. Hopefully you have made your preparations or evacuated if you're along the coast. There's going to be some pretty significant storm surge coming in, which we're going to take a look at as well. But the other thing is going to be after landfall, the story is not going to be over, not by a long stretch. So this is the European. You can see our storm way down there in the Gulf, but look at this in Georgia, the upstate South Carolina, North Carolina, heavy rainfall out ahead of this storm, and the storm's coming right for you as well. So there could be some really, really major flooding, especially in northern Georgia and the higher terrain, upstate South Carolina, foothills and mountains of North Carolina. Could be some very, very significant flooding there. And on the eastern side here, so we're talking, inland Florida, up into southeast Georgia, up into the Carolinas. You're going to be on the eastern side of the storm. So looking at severe weather potentially some hurricanes, some tornadoes as well. And let's actually pop over. We can see this. So let me show you tornado. So here we go. 10% chance of a tornado. And that is in southeast Georgia up into the Carolinas there, 5% chance. And this is Thursday. It's going to be Thursday into overnight, Thursday or early Friday. And then I would expect the same, on Friday too. I think there's going to be a chance of tornadoes to the east side of the storm here. So, everyone's kind of focusing on that landfall, which, rightly so, especially this thing comes in as strong as some of the models are showing. Wild scenes along the coast, no doubt. But as you go inland, there's going to be quite a story to be told as well there with the flooding. There's going to be some tornadoes. Hopefully they don't go through populated areas, but certainly have a way to get those warnings. I know most of us get our warnings on our phones, so make sure you have those alerts turned on so you can get them, because there's going to be some wild weather. There's going to be overnight Thursday. There's going to be a tornado threat, so you might be sleeping when the tornado's coming towards you. So have a way, make sure that phone is charged up, those alerts are turned on, so you can get those notifications and get to safety if that's the case. Let's pop over here and take a look at the storm surge. So 12 to 18 feet. So major storm surge is likely. Even further down the coast, 3 to 5 feet as you get towards southwest Florida, Naples, 1 to 3 feet in Key West, in the Florida Keys, and then even on the East Coast. So the wind field is going to be big and it's going to be over the Atlantic. So there's going to be a push of water, up into we're talking northeast Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. So Hilton Head and Edisto, you're looking at a possibility of 1 to 3 foot storm surge as well. Wouldn't be surprised if we see something a little bit higher. That wind field's going to be pretty big. There's going to be a long stretch of water there that the wind's going to be blowing over, piling up that water. So just be prepared for that as well. If you're on the east coast of Florida up into South Carolina as well, you're not going to escape this. Not to mention you're going to see some strong gusty winds as well, especially right along the coast there. So let's actually take a look at rainfall too, because that's going to be another huge story. And so here's the rainfall. So we can see, look at that up into Georgia. We're talking, let's zoom in here to like the Asheville area. See that pink right there in the middle of the screen? That's 20 inches of rain. So we're talking about a pretty big area of 8 to possibly 20 inches of rain, and that terrain is very hilly and mountainy as well. So there could be some catastrophic flooding, some pretty wild scenes coming out of upstate South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina. So just because you are well inland and away from the coast, even in the mountains, you don't really think that you might not, you're going to see some serious impacts from this, but you will. So hopefully you've prepared as well. Hopefully the word is getting out about this, because this is going to be a major story in the days to come. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Going to have another update tomorrow. Hopefully we see some positive things as far as dry air getting into the storm, maybe a little bit earlier. Right now it looks like there's going to be some dry air trying to get in. I just think it's going to be too late. The models are showing it right kind of as it makes landfall. That dry air is going to try to get entrained into the storm and then start to weaken it. But at that point, it's just too late. So hopefully we can see something on the data that indicates that's going to be happening sooner. But again, hopefully you're already prepared, but prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.